Hey folks, we are back today. Notice we're out here in my shop. It's a little hot outside. It's like 99 degrees outside today. I apologize for the directness of this light. I'm still working on getting the lighting set out here. But I'm glad you're back, folks. Today we got something not quite normal for most people, I guess. We have I got a job cutting down a yard and getting it cleaned up for the summer. And it's one of them yards that hasn't been touched yet this year. So the grass and the weeds and everything are about shoulder high, maybe head high in some places. And weed eaters can tackle it, but it's one of them things, if there's anything bigger than a weed eater can't cut, I figured I'd pull out my old scythe. I've got a multi-purpose blade here, which we're going to give a light sharpen. It is still pretty good and sharp. But the first thing we're going to do, though, I got to do something with this handle. The handle's getting a little dry, and I want to get it ready for some work. So what we're going to do is we'll give it a light sanding with some 220 grit. Then we'll go, once that's done, we're going to give it a good coat of bull linseed oil and let that soak in. And then we'll be ready, once we sharpen the blade, we'll be ready to put things back together. So, I'm going to bring it along here as much as I can. Get that out of the way, we don't want to fool with that yet. So, when you're sanding your handle, getting it ready to do what I'm getting ready to do with the bull linseed oil, you don't need to sand it with 60 grit, 80 grit, something like that. You don't need it to be a real rough grit. You just need something light so you can open the pores back up on this wood to allow the bull linseed oil to sink in. Anytime you get a new wood handle tool, I like to do the same thing with all my wood handle tools. My shovels, my rakes, my hoes, any of that. I do the same thing brand new. I take a knife and I'll scrape the varnish off. I say scrape, not sand, none of that. I just take the back of my knife and scrape it lightly, pulling that varnish off. It doesn't damage the wood. Then once I get all the varnish off, we use the same thing. A little bit of bull linseed oil. Again, we're just trying to open the pores up, get a little bit of the dirt off, clean it up just a little bit, getting it ready for it to accept some new bull linseed oil. You want to use bull linseed oil, which has been treated. It actually dries. If you use regular linseed oil, it doesn't quite dry very well. It stays tacky. Where the bull linseed oil, it will dry real good. It doesn't get tacky. It doesn't get, I guess, nasty, as you can call it. I do my axe handles. Again, I do this to all of my wood handle tools. My grandfather taught me years ago, you do this with your wood handle tools. I try to do it once a year, but I've been a little lax with this one. This doesn't get pulled out very often. It's probably been 3 or 4 years since I pulled this out. The last time this got done was after the 22 flood, because this handle, part of this handle had gotten submerged. So I did the same thing. I cleaned it, sanded it, gave her a good little bath, and some bull linseed oil, cleaned it up, got it ready, and haven't had a call for it. But I was confronted by somebody that asked me if I could clean up their yard since it hadn't been cleaned yet this year. It hadn't been cut and all that. So I said, yeah, I can do it. But again, it's one of the things, I've got one of the local neighborhood gentlemen who's going to go help me. So we should be able to knock this out in a day or two. Probably going to pack up all the brush that we gathered, all the tall stuff that we've knocked down. Once you knock it down, what do you do with it? You can leave it there, run it over, but that causes too much thatch in the grass, and it can burn your grass if you're not careful. I don't want to do that, because once we get it knocked down, I get to go cut it once a week for the person. I want to make it easier for myself. I'm sorry, I'm doing this down here off camera. Again, you only want to do this lightly. You don't want to see a ton of wood falling off. I'm going to have to tighten that handle up. Again, the biggest problem with this scythe is the fact that it was flooded. So once the water got into it and dried out, it does nasty things to the wood, the pores of the wood. It's actually not very good for the wood. It expands, and it'll actually bust the fibers. It'll bust the cells and all that. It can really mess one up. Not a lot of room here in the shop, but this scythe has been in my family for many years. My father's dad bought this. Let's see, my dad was born in 46, so either the late 1930s or the early 1940s, my grandfather bought this brand new. And with a little bit of care and love, will hold up. This is I think this is the German handled one. The German handled ones have the crooked handle. So it actually wraps around your body pretty good as you're swinging it. So again, I started swinging this scythe when I was probably, 12, 13 years old. Helped my father at my grandfather's. Well, and helped my grandfather while I was at it. That's pretty good. Again, it doesn't require a lot of sanding. You can use an emery cloth. You can use pretty much anything you've got that's a little rough. Now, believe it or not, if you shoot pool, and you've got a nice stick, and if you're not quite sure what you're doing, the nicest thing to smooth up the shaft where it slides on your hand, one of the best things to do that with is a fairly new dollar bill. Fold it up a couple times and wrap it around the shaft, and that makes, nothing like shooting pool with a freshly, I hate to say sanding it, but it is a sand. The dollar bills and stuff are rough enough to really put a good smooth finish on your cheesecake. I don't know what that has to do with putting rolled linseed here on my handle here, but I apologize for that. But let's see if we can get this open. It's been a while. Oh man, nothing like the smell of fresh boiled linseed oil. Now, I'm not going to use a rag to put it on. I'm going to use my hands and dump a little bit on the wood. Oh, that's good and warm. Yeah, that ran nice and smooth. Hope you guys can see how that's changing the color of that wood. Don't worry about getting on any metal. This is actually a protectant. And if you think back in the days when all the barns were painted red, the way they got that red is they mixed rust and with standard linseed oil. Not the boiled like what I'm working with here, because they didn't have the boiled back then. All they had was a straight linseed oil. They use that on their farm equipment. They use that on anything that gets used, left outside, gets used outside, all their metal implements, all of that. Got a good coating of boiled linseed oil every fall to keep it from rusting in the winter. Keeps the moisture from getting into this wood and causing problems. Nothing like the smell of some boiled linseed oil in the afternoon. Make sure you get along the end of the handle where the grain's really open. Get it on everything, nice and heavy. Try to keep it off my hands, but it looks like my glove tore. Yeah, my stick here has got a couple rough spots. Now, it's interesting. I went to my local hardware store today to see if I could find me a wet rock for sharpening this. My local hardware store didn't have one. And he got looking in his books, and he couldn't even find one anywhere. Now, I got all the oil on. Now, I'm going to give it a light white, almost like a polish. You're trying to take just a little bit off. Allows it to dry a little bit quicker. So, that feels good and that looks good. You can see the color difference from when we started. It's got a nice shine to it, nice and smooth. Oh, that just looks good. Now the other thing I've done is made my own stain using walnuts. You soak walnuts in water for a couple days, and then add a little vinegar to it. It helps pull the tannins out of the walnuts. And the advantage of pulling the tannins out is that colors the vinegar. And once you get all that out, you add that to a little bit of boiled linseed oil, and you rub it into your wood, and it creates a stained look, which some people like the look of, some people don't like the look of. I'm not one that particularly cares for it, but I've done it. I've done it on a couple of axe handles. Now what I'm doing is the metal pieces that go to the side that hold the blade on. I'm going to give all that a good wipe down with some oil, boiled linseed oil again. Everything I'm using on this project today is going to be the boiled linseed oil. Again, this keeps all these parts from rusting. This part is the part that actually holds the blade. It keeps the threads nice and clean until you drop it on the floor. Keeps the threads nice and clean. This side is, like I said, it's probably close to 100 years old. But this, I grabbed it with the crescent wrench and it twisted right off. So that's kind of what you want. This helps hold the head on. Now, I'm not putting anything with boiled linseed oil. Does not go in my trash. Boiled linseed oil, if you throw it in the trash, does have a history of spontaneously combusting. Because as it's drying, it actually gets hot. So we don't want that issue. Now, let's move on to the blade. This blade is a multi-purpose blade. They make a brush blade, which is short. It's probably 8 inches shorter than this one. And they make a multi-use blade, which is for brush and a little bit of light weeds and things like that. Then they make a grass blade. The grass blade is probably 3 foot long. And before you ask, yes, I have a grass blade. But the spot where I'll be cutting, the grass blade isn't quite appropriate. Now you don't want to tighten that in there too tight. Now, let me find my flat file. I've got a smooth flat file here, which is what I want to use. You know what? I don't think I want to use a file on this. I think I'm going to pull one of my stones out. Just because of how smooth this actually is. Yeah, it looks good. Got a whole box of stones here. These are wet stones. The thing with a wet stone is you have to use oil or water. But the key with that is you need to know which one your stone takes. There we go. There's the blade. All of my stones take oil. I like to use a little 3-in-1 oil, but right now I don't have any. So the next best thing that I've found, WD-40. Spray it on your stone. If you can get the spray. You don't want to put a lot because you're going to be working vertical. So you want this to stay on here the best it can. Just start at the tip. Not a lot of pressure. Just a little bit of pressure at the angle. This is a very shallow angle. All you're trying to do is polish this. There's some rust on here. So I'm trying to polish this and make it nice and shiny. Once I get it polished a little bit, I'll show you the difference. Again, not a lot of pressure. Now let's knock the burr off the back. Woo! Nice! Take this out of the vise real quick. I can show you what we've done. Look right here, we got it nice and shiny. And as we get back here, we get a little bit of rust on the cutting edge. This is all I'm trying to knock off. I don't want to dig into anything. This is nice. I don't want a burr on the back. I want this nice and tight right across here. So I'm going to move my blade out just a little bit so I can get a little bit farther back up the surface. And if you notice, I'm not allowing that blade to be in completely perpendicular. I want an angle on that blade. I want that angle on the blade so I can work that with a perpendicular stone. If you notice, my head's down low. I want to keep this stone. Ooh, you hear that? You want to keep this stone at the same angle to the previous angle. Sorry. I had a little bit of a memory glitch. Now, the wet rock that I was talking about is one you put in your pocket. You carry it with you. And every now and then you rub it across the surface of your blade across your cutting edge. You do that to keep it nice and smooth. You don't want any nicks and dings and things like that. This is, like I said, this is the medium length blade, and it can still take a good amount of time to get it good and sharp. But we're getting there. Again, as you can see, here's where we started. We're slowly working our way up the blade, and right about here we start getting that rust back on this surface because we haven't done anything with this. So we're going to move the blade up a little bit in my vise. So we can get to the next section. Oh, even without AC running, it's hot in here. Do something about that here real quick. That's a little bit better. I had to turn it just a little bit so it's hitting me a little bit better. Now, I was at my hardware store this morning looking for the wet rock. They didn't have them. They couldn't find them in their books. I got home, found them on Amazon. They have them starting at about, I think, $9. But talking to the owner, they don't get much of a call for wet rocks. And he said, not just the other day, they were having a conversation about size. And besides the owner of the hardware store, only one other person that was there has actually ever swung one. So it kind of shocked the owner a little bit when I came in asking for a whetstone, or a wet rock for my scythe. And the fact that I knew how to use one. I've had 3 or 4 wet rocks over the years, but they were neglected and they weren't kept wet, so they fell by the wayside and ended up cracking and breaking. So once you get one that's broke, you can't do much with it. On the back of that blade, you want that stone. You want that stone flat on the back of the blade, because you don't want any bevel on this side. Oh yeah, it's been a while since I've sharpened one of these, so you got to bear with me a little bit. I'm trying to get, like I said, it's been a couple years since I've actually pulled this out of the shed. I pulled it out after the 22 flood and gave it a quick wipe down and a quick work over. But I wasn't completely happy with it. Quick wipe down with the linseed oil. A little bit of a burr right there that I'm not a fan of, but it's not catching me. Right there. Right there is about where I'd stop, so we're going to extend this out to where I can get the rest of the blade. A little bit more WD-40. Ah, my can's almost empty. No fret, I got another can sitting here behind the camera. Now, once you get this sharp, you really have to be careful with it, because it'll cut you in a heartbeat. Again, this is something that's easy, but it's time consuming. So it's one of them things, don't get in a hurry, don't get in a rush, take your time. The better job you do with it now, the better it will cut, and the quicker your project will go. Yeah, there's a nice glint on. Whoop, let me wipe it off. There you go, there's a nice glint all the way up that blade. Now, let's see on the back. Look at that, right there along the edge. You can see that little bit of a glint. It's where I've smoothed that off to get rid of the burrs across the back. That feels pretty good. I think that's one of the best times I've done on one of these in a vise. Most of the time I don't have a vise. I'm just doing it straight up out on the ground. Let's see. Yeah. Now the scythe doesn't cut on the straight down. The scythe cuts on the slide. It slides across the grass blades and cuts that way. So it's one of them things. There's a defined arc when you're cutting that I'm not going to be able to show you today, or at this moment. I got to let everything set up and cure on my linseed oil. And once I get that once that all gets cured, I'll bring you guys back in here. I'll let this sit. I'll bring you guys back in here. We'll put it back together. We'll get it adjusted for me. And then, where are you? Let me find myself. Then we'll take it outside and, excuse me, we'll go cut a little bit of grass with it. Show you how the technique as a swing and all that. It's been a while, so if I start off a little rough, bear with me. Bear with me. And the fact that I'm getting old, I don't move like I used to move. So this is step one. I'll bring you back when we're ready for step two, which will be the reassembly, and we'll get you okay. So, follow along, folks, and we'll see you in a little bit. And again, I'm hoping you're enjoying this video, so stick around and stick with us through the end. Hey folks, here we are back over here at Pap's. We're going to be having a cookout in celebration of my mother-in-law's birthday today. We're going to be cooking out on the grill. We're going to be here just to relax. We're going to celebrate the nation's 250th anniversary here this weekend. So it's one of them things, we're just going to do what we can to enjoy ourselves. We're going to do some cooking. We're going to sit and have some community with our family. And we're going to go and we're basically just going to have as much fun as we can. Again, I apologize. We interrupted our scythe video for this, but hopefully you guys enjoy this video and we'll go from there. Well, thank you. Okay folks, we got the meat on the grill, so we're gonna check this out here real quick. See how things are looking. Oh yeah, we got ribs on the left, we got hamburgers on the right, we got everything going good. Um, it's one of the things we're doing it slow. I got the temperatures turned down as low as I can get it right now. I don't want to scorch everything. I just want to kind of make sure everything gets done. As the ribs get closer to being done, I will cover them in some barbecue sauce so they get a good flavor to them. The burgers, everybody that's here except me wants their burgers double killed and killed twice, so we're going to cook them good and we'll see how all that goes. This grill was given to me by my wife and the little one for Father's Day. This is our second time using it, and we really enjoy it. For some reason, the burgers taste about 1,000 times better on here than they do on a stove. So we're just gonna keep going. And again, I apologize for the sound issue on this. I'm using a different microphone than I normally use, and for some reason, it didn't want to work very well. And I didn't realize it until we came time to editing. But the last clip on this video, I went back to one of the old mics and everything seemed to work. So follow along. Again, I apologize for no sound. And again, we will catch you on the next clip, folks.
What is this?
Microphone.
For what?
For the camera.
Oh, hello there. Oh my goodness gracious.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Just say the grace.
You want me to say grace?
Yep. Say grace.
All right. All right. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and what it means to us and our freedom, and thank you for being so faithful to us and keep us safe, and may you bless this food to the nourishments of our body and to those who prepared this food. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Susan, come on. I'm going to get your hamburger.
Anybody else want to say something?
Happy birthday, Nanny.
Thank you.
How old is the birthday girl?
That's
How old are you, Mom?
68.
60. I thought you were going to say 29 and counting.
No, I'm telling the truth today.
I
And
figured.
Nugget,
We'll
come here. Want to tell them happy birthday, Nanny?
Happy birthday, Nanny.
Thank you. We'll make it.
We'll got it.
We'll get it. Susan, come and show me what hamburger.
Okay, keep following along. Okay, folks, we're wrapping things up here with our 4th of July picnic and Mom's birthday celebration. Don't think we're going to get to any fireworks this evening, but I wanted to get on here and do somewhat of a closing. We really appreciate you guys following along, those that are following. If this is your first video, hit that like and subscribe. We are a DIY channel, and we do what we can to bring new content each week. With that said, happy birthday, Mom. And happy birthday, United States of America. I want to thank all of those who have served all the way back to the beginning of the country, before the country was actually formed. I want to thank all of those people. Those that are still serving, thank you. May God bless you all. It's been an interesting day. There's a lot going on in our country. There's a lot going on in the world right now. And there's actually a lot happening in our local communities. Our community garden is still doing good. We are still getting our grasses cut around the community. We're trying to do what we can to bring our community together. So we're still picking up trash. The next step for everybody, honestly, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, follow along, see what type of stuff we got going on. We've had a good day here today. It dumped down the rain earlier, then it's gotten hot, so the humidity has been miserable today. As you saw, I did most of the cooking, but everybody got their fill. We didn't film anybody eating. We didn't do any other talking with anybody. We just kind of did our thing for this afternoon. Tried not to get on here for our YouTube channel. We tried not to get on here too much. But I want to leave you guys with this closing. God bless America. God bless Mom. God bless each and every one of you. If you like what you're seeing so far, shoot us a message. Let us know. If there's something you want to see us do, shoot us a message. Let us know. I try to do something different. Our channel's a little different. I'm hoping we get enough of our family time in each of the videos. I like to do what I can to include my wife and our little one, because they are my world. So follow along. If you like this type of stuff, follow us. Again, go back and check out some of our content. We've had different types of videos, from gardening, homeschooling, to doing some carpentry work, some automotive work, bicycle work, done some welding, just little DIY stuff around the house that we do to make our house and a couple other people's houses a little bit better, and update things and make it life easier for them. We've got a couple that we take care of that don't like to be on film, so we don't do any filming with them. But those who let us film, we like to film them and bring them along with you, include them in our lives. So, folks, again, I hope you're enjoying our channel. I enjoy making this content for you, and I hope to continue to be able to do this. And through your messages, through your likes, through your follows, that continues to encourage me to want to do more each week. Again, we post every Sunday. This video will make it up tomorrow, which is the day after the 4th of July. This video will make it up. So we love you, folks. Check in, see what's going on each week. May God bless you all. May God bless the country.